And so I kind of felt like Ryan Reynolds in Just Friends when he comes home and there's a guitar there and his face like starts like freaking out and there's the dramatic music in my head. Here, and this is my first like booktube video, I guess, you know, in the realm of what booktubers do, and I wanted to review this book, Wicked Fox. I just finished it last night. Stayed up quite late, like till 5, trying to finally finish it, and I really liked it, and I'm gonna give some non-spoilers and then I'm gonna go into spoilers, so I'll let you know when I'm gonna start kind of spoiling things if you haven't read it, so you will be safe watching at least some of this video if you haven't read it. So I want to participate in Asian Readathon. I was interested in this book anyway, and it became on my radar because I wrote a book called The Empress, and it's out now, available on Amazon, came out this month. Go read it and review it, it's really good. Me and my family, we've always kind of been ingrained in like the culture of like Asian cinema. That's from my mom watching movies, from us watching like animes and watching K-dramas and K-pop. It was really kind of like all the fandom of my life kind of came together. I felt that I needed to also do a little more reading to kind of see, am I going in the right direction as far as like what I'm portraying and stuff. So I would really like to have like spent like some time in South Korea personally, but that didn't happen. But hopefully, you know, please take me with you over there. Please bring me. But anyway, so I researched, and of course Wicked Fox was like the top thing because it's a bestseller. I'm sure maybe you watching have read it. And when I started reading the summary and I compared it to like my book, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's about a young girl who fights and sucks the life force from people, and she has an ally named Ji-hoon. And so and I kind of felt like Ryan Reynolds in Just Friends when he comes home and there's a guitar there and his face like starts like freaking out and there's the dramatic music in my head. I even like tweeted about it because I was like, this is, oh gosh, it sounds so similar. And so I actually started reading it and I'm like, okay, there's so much that's different still. So so it's kind of like a little bit of relief. But anyway, I really liked the book. I really enjoyed it. I thought the characters were very complex. It was a little bit of back and forth, like who's evil, who's good, who's really a monster, what makes you a monster, you know, redemption, all that other kind of stuff. Are people as bad as they seem? Are people as good as they seem? So there was a lot of complexity there. Overall, I enjoyed the story. I did think it was a bit long. You can tell that the author likes K-dramas, just like the main character obviously likes K-dramas. That was kind of her like escape, even though there's something that's like so human or whatever. She said she didn't have friends, so she has to like watch dramas to like fill the void, fill the space. I think the irony of them talking about how K-dramas are, even like the tropes, incorporate into the book itself, and that was something that I read. The author Cho had said that they kind of wanted to share their love of Korean dramas and start incorporating some of those things and the tropes that they love into YA dramas, which is something that she also loves as well. So I picked up on it. There's like a lot of like irony, and I'll explain a little bit later about what I mean. I thought the romance in the book was great. I loved Ji-hoon and Mi-young, their relationship. Mi-young is the young fox demon. She's half fox demon, half human, and her mother is the one who she got her demon side from, and her mother is like fierce and harsh and cruel and brokenhearted, and she's one of the people who's pretty complex, but at first it's like, man, she's mean, and she keeps saying, I do everything I do is for you, and talking about her daughter. And there are times when she feels like the villain, and there's other times when you're like, I guess maybe she's justified, but she's so mean. And but anyway, back to the romance. Ji-hoon is her classmate, and that he kind of stumbles into her world of the supernatural, and he's someone who gives her a chance and wants to get to know her and won't let her push him away. So, you know, people love relationships where it's like, I want to get close to you, let me break down your walls, and like that, I don't want to let you, but I need to let you, and I wish you'd go away, but I don't want you to go away. And they like slowly like chipping away and breaking those barriers to two people who fight and they bicker and they prod each other, but at the same time they can't live without each other. They hurt, they care, they feel, they love, they despise, and but you know, they can't live without each other. So I thought like it gave you all of those feels and all of those emotions, and those are great. There's some side characters that were great. Like Ji-hoon had some classmates. One particular, a feisty female friend was cool. There was this goblin character. When they introduced him, I'm like, I wonder how much of the story he's gonna be in there, because the characters made it known like, I don't like this person, but I'm like, no, he's cool, I like him. So I'm pretty sure maybe the author anticipated that or secretly really likes this person, because I read in the summary that they're gonna be definitely part of the next book as well. So overall, I was interested like pretty much throughout the book to read it. Then it got like to the halfway point, because I was just kind of like reading on and off, like cooking or something. I was listening to the audiobook, which is really good. And then it got to the point I was on a road trip, and it got to like the halfway point, and there's like a big twist like at the halfway point, and at that point I was like, I like audibly gasped. And when you audibly gasp when you're in a car, it wasn't like super loud, but I don't gasp like that. So people like, if people turn to me, I'm just like looking at them like, I'm sorry, didn't mean to alarm you. And I'm just like, come on, I'm like, oh no. And so that like kind of shot, like put a boost of adrenaline in it for me. But then after, and then there's like some other things that like happen like surrounding like this action, and then after that things start to drop off, and then it seems like a long drop off. So that's where eventually I was like, when are we gonna get to the next kind of big thing? And so I did feel like it was a bit long, and not that there weren't parts even in the long, like waiting to like the next big thing to happen, that I didn't enjoy, but I definitely maybe thought it could have been condensed a bit. So yeah, especially since you're like, I don't know, fighting demons and all this other stuff, and you're like, when's like the next big thing? So, and then there was another twist. I didn't know how I felt about it, but then the other things surrounding the next big twist were really, oh, that's some really juicy drama. And so it was definitely a book that I was like, told my sister about, like, hey, this happened, blah 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 blah, because I knew she wouldn't probably read it. So when you have to talk about the book, it's great when it invokes like emotions where you need to talk about it, as opposed to like, that was okay, let me just like leave it alone and not think about it. Like, you want something to dwell into people's hearts and minds and etc. for good reasons, and there were definitely good reasons. So I would definitely recommend it. I gave it 4 stars because I did think it was a little long. I really enjoyed it, and I recommend that you pick it up, and also pick up The Empress, my book. I really liked it. So anyway, let's get into the spoilers. The whole twist with Nara and her grandmother showing up and stuff, that like hurt me a little bit. It like hurt me because she's just so sweet and like fragile, and she wants to be Mi Young's friend so bad, it seems. And so and then she was just like, you know, turns on her, and it was a whole ruse, and then like it poor Mi-young, who's like struggling to trust people, and then all of a sudden it's like the trust that she sort of had was working toward with this girl was all for in vain and stuff. So and then like slowly finding out her mother is obviously a terrible person doing these terrible things, and it's like unveiling like, no, I was right the whole time about this, I was right the whole time about that, I was right about, I mean, the only thing she's not right about is Ji-hoon, but because Ji-hoon's obviously a good person, but and gosh, what she did with Ji-hoon and just stabbed and walked out, I'm like, oh man, she's so cold. But you got to see why, and so I'm not gonna justify all of her actions, but you can totally understand it. And I thought the twist with the Nara was and her grandmother was really good, because there were moments like when Mi-young went to go see the goblin, he was like, why would your priestess like do the spell when she was like seeing the ghost, like why would she use this talisman? And you felt like she wanted her to trust her so bad, but you felt like the little seeds of doubt, but it's like, I hope she's just being paranoid, like, oh gosh, I don't want this to be a thing, and it totally was a thing. And then but all of the waiting for, she wasn't gone that long, I guess, but I guess where I felt it was long was just like the back and forth with her and Ji-hoon. I'm just like, your granny's hurt and you need help, I know you're full of pride and your mom left you and all this other stuff, but there's just like I see her, go away, I don't want you here, I see you, we're gonna fight, go away, I don't want you, like him chasing after, like the goblin showing up to his friend and then there and seeing him there and like checking up on, like it just was like a lot to me as far as like waiting. And then I'm just like, when did he get stabbed? Like chapter like 40 something, and then I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but then he got to like I even tweeted out like 69. I'm like, gosh, when is this gonna be over? And so that's where I thought it was a little long. And it's interesting when they have a conversation about dramas, and she was like talking about how the plots are predictable. And I'm not saying these plots are predictable, well, not at all. I'm not saying this book is predictable. But Ji-hoon was like, when she was explaining one, she's like, they're poor, their family doesn't want to be together, and then she gets hit by a car or something, and Ji-hoon's like, why do they add like extra obstacles? And like he's kind of criticizing them, and so obviously they had the obstacle of her being, you know, a demon, him being human, and all this other stuff, and then him absorbing her bead, and then he's like in the hospital. So like dramas and people being in the hospital and stuff like that. But that's just a drama thing anyway. Like someone once said, like, called One Tree Hill the hospital show, because people, you know, were going to the hospital, caught by cars, and Haley was hit by a car when she was pregnant. So it was like Peyton, wasn't she? And Lucas like had a heart attack. He had the heart problems, and this Nathan was paralyzed for a while. So anyway, like a lot of dramas do it. It's not like notoriously K-drama. And so when I told my sister about it, like how I thought it was long or whatever, kind of waiting with some of the stuff, she's like, yeah, I'm not surprised, because sometimes you're watching a K-drama and you're kind of waiting for like the next thing. It's just like the longness of the obstacle of them not being together. So I was just like, I don't know if it was just because I don't think it was just because it was late and I wanted to finish it. Because I think it was just like come on, let's go. So the twist that I didn't quite know if I liked was when her dad showed up. Is like, I am your dad, and I'm like, oh, but there are things that were peppered in there, like Ji-hoon feeling like he was familiar, like fatherly, even though he clearly wasn't his father, and because he had her bead. So I can understand those feelings. So those things are kind of maybe peppered in there, but I don't know. I don't know how I felt about it. But then like all the other stuff, like he tried when he's like, "Who was an accident?" I'm like, you tried to drown her, dude. Where was that an accident? And then her mother telling the story about you know, basically all this other stuff is like a misunderstanding, and the shamans are just kind of racist, evil people who, I mean, but they're demons. So what do you? I mean, you know, so they have their kind of way of thinking about things, but they're totally obviously going about things the wrong way. And so the whole origin of her mother not actually having her bead, and actually, I mean, it was great. It was great drama, juicy, kind of like, oh man, wow. Ooh. Like, there was a lot of emotions. So I can only imagine what a normal person would feel if I felt emotions. Uh, so it's not my perfect book, because I just did feel like, come on. At one point, but I really enjoyed it. I really did. So and I think you guys will really dig it too. I'm assuming if you're at this part and you were through the spoilers that you probably already read it and enjoyed it. So I liked it. What were some of your favorite parts? You know, talk to me, comment, leave comments below. Check me out on Ninja Dust Pub on Twitter, Ninja Dust Publishing on Facebook, but easier to contact me on Twitter or leave a comment under. Hit like, hit subscribe, and please, since you're here, check out The Empress. That's my book. That was released this month. I think you guys will really like it too. Oh, another thing I want to say, I did really enjoy learning about these other, because I'm really big on like mythology and stuff, but it's been like Egyptian, Greek mythology, stuff like that. So I guess mythology, if it's been bled into like anime and stuff like that, but I guess I haven't done a lot of like Korean mythology folklore. So and there's a lot that historical stuff that I picked up just even kind of researching my book, even though it's like not really folklore, but it's always great and cool to learn new things. So I really enjoyed the backstories and everything, and seeing their world through Miss Cho's eyes. I thought she did a great job, and I'll be on the lookout for the next book that comes out. And so I think that's probably the biggest compliment that someone else can give to an author, is that I want to read what you have next. So great job. And did you guys like the book? I don't want to go into like 5 closings like they do in church, so I'm gonna sign out, and you guys can check me out at ninjadustpublishing.com if you want to learn a little bit more about what I do, what I write, and etc. Guys, have a great day and keep reading the books.